generous estimation. Esteemed faculty, beloved family and friends, and fellow class of 2015. What a rare occasion we have today. And I'm not just making mention of all the giddy parents who were in attendance who thought we would be the child to live in their basement forever. I'm making reference to the fact that there are 2 male OTs in this year's graduating class, 20%. Occupational therapy is roughly 90 to 94% female, so this is kind of a big deal. I received a text the other day from a friend that displayed a picture of Bigfoot with the caption reading, "This is what it feels like to be an OT." So, you all get the privilege of seeing not 1, but 2 male OTs in the same location today. Feel free to take pictures, but there have never been a picture of a male OT that hasn't turned out blurry. We have come a long way as individuals and as a class over the past 3 years. We have learned the true meaning of what occupational therapy is. And no, we don't help people find jobs, and we're not the same as physical therapy. The primary goal of occupational therapy is to enable people to participate in the activities of everyday life, whether that's enhancing their ability to engage in occupation or by modifying the occupational environment. We want people to be as independent as possible. If you've ever had a time in your life where you were dependent on other people, you know how difficult that can be. As occupational therapists, we will have the opportunity to help people regain their independence and all of the rewarding benefits that comes with that. Personally, I can't think of a more rewarding profession. For the last 3 years, give or take a few breaks for field work and holiday, my classmates and I have spent roughly 4 to 8 hours a day with each other in a small classroom, 5 days a week, which turns out to be close to 4,000 hours together. Yeah, and we all made it here, so it's pretty good. You don't spend 4,000 hours with a group of people without learning a few things about them. And I'd like to take a minute to point out a few of the things that we have learned about each other. First, we learned that Megan can carry a fridge by herself down a flight of stairs and into a classroom. We also learned from that same experience that it's extremely difficult to see backpacks on the floor while carrying a fridge. And you can fill in the ending to that story. We learned that Casey's body functions better on Red Bull than it does on water. We discovered Andy will put mustard on anything, including a direct shot to the old tongue. Oh. We learned that Cindy and Laurel are actually twins who are separated at birth. And though they deny that they look anything alike, our professors in Grand Forks who have been switching them on for 3 years would say otherwise. We also learned that Cindy enjoys making in-depth to-do lists for the satisfaction of crossing things off her list. At times, she would even add things to her to-do list that she has already completed, so she feels like she's accomplished more throughout the day. Open eyelids, check. We learned that Laurel can split an apple in half with her bare hands, that Jackie is very apologetic about answering questions correct in class, and that Bobby would rather die than spend a weekend in Casper. I'd be surprised if she's already taken off. We found out that Lauren likes to tell jokes about physics that nobody understands, but that's okay because she laughs at all of her own jokes, so we don't feel obligated to. We learned not to leave our electronics unattended around Chris, because he has no problems carrying out conversations with our significant others, or emailing the entire class on our behalf. Chris and I also discovered that sarcasm is rarely appreciated when you have 8 or more stressed women in a room. Unfortunately, when you were born without a filter like myself, this lesson is learned the hard way. But classmates weren't the only ones that we learned from in our education here. The faculty also played a role. We learned a little bit of sign language from Professor Dolan, that when she goes like this, in a forceful manner in front of your face, it means you should stop talking, texting, or sleeping. We learned that Dr. Zimmerman can spot a yawn from a mile away, to which she will respond, "Am I boring you?" And at that point, if you value life, you have to resist the temptation to say yes. We discovered that in Professor Lamborn's class, that regardless of the question, if you say, "it depends," you will receive full participation points. We learned that you could never have too many commas when you write a paper for Professor Bailey. There were times I would get my paper back and find that she would even put commas in the middle of words that she thought were too long. If you're going to use the word conundrum, Alan, then you need to split it up with a comma. But, in all seriousness, it's no coincidence that we chose Professor Bailey to be our keynote speaker. In my mind's eye, she was the first professor that got us excited to be occupational therapists. Her enthusiasm for the profession is unmatched, and her ability to convey that emotion into her teaching provides us with the unwavering foundation to build our education knowledge. Professor Bailey, I think I speak for the entire class when I say thank you for all that you've done for us. But on behalf of the class, I'd also like to thank the family and friends that are in attendance today. The ones who listened to us when we called to tell you how overwhelmed we were, or how we were certain there's no way that we could ever survive grad school. To our loved ones who allowed us to vent to them when it was obvious that we were all sleep deprived, and we felt that knowledge was just seeping from our brains and there's no way we could keep it in. To our parents who taught us that getting an education was important, thank you. There's no way we'd be on the stage today if it weren't for you. To those who taught us that in order to change, we must first be challenged, this is for you. To those who told us that we've got what it takes, but it's going to take everything that we've got, this is for you. The last 3 years, I have lived by the motto that the only person that you should try to be better than is the person that you were yesterday. This is extremely important for us as new graduates to understand as we enter into the workforce. It's impossible for us to know everything there is to know and understand about being an OT, but we can set out to be better than we were yesterday. If we try to compare ourselves to others, we will never quite measure up. We need to focus on the things that we can change and disregard the things that we can't. As we work on bettering ourselves, the sky is the limit. I can personally vouch for each of my classmates that not only are they going to be incredible occupational therapists, but they are incredible human beings. And this is just a small step to what they will actually accomplish in the years to come. An Olympic gold medalist once said, "You have to remember that the hard days are what make you stronger. The bad days make you realize what a good day is, and if you never had any bad days, you would never have the sense of accomplishment." Class of 2015, today is a good day. We did it. Thank you.